Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling something that, honestly, can really simplify your life and definitely boost your well-being. Meal planning.
Mm-hmm.
We're digging into how just a little bit of forethought can save you time, money, cut down on stress, and, even help you eat healthier.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because everyone has to eat, obviously, but those daily decisions around what to eat can get surprisingly tricky.
They really can.
And this isn't about suddenly becoming some kind of gourmet chef. It's more about finding a sustainable way, really, to approach a basic part of our lives.
Exactly. So to get a handle on this, we've looked at some great guidance from the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics on successful meal planning.
Right.
We've also explored insights on healthy eating specifically for weight control and checked out some really practical tips from a coach's guide to weekly meal planning.
Good range of sources there.
Yeah, so our goal today is basically to equip you with actionable strategies, and a solid understanding of how you can successfully plan meals for a healthier lifestyle.
So where do we even start? I guess step one is making the menu itself.
That's the foundation, yeah, laying the groundwork. The Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, they point out some initial things you need to ask yourself.
Okay.
Like how often you're going to plan. Is it weekly? Maybe even monthly for some people.
Right, ambitious.
And when will you actually do the cooking? Prep ahead, cook right before you eat, or maybe a mix of both. And also, have you thought about batch cooking? Yeah. Making bigger amounts and freezing some for later.
Those are definitely the big picture questions. And then I suppose you also have to think about any specific dietary needs, right?
Yeah.
Or preferences for you or your family.
Absolutely. That's crucial. So once you sort of mulled that over, how do you actually, build the menu?
Yeah, the specifics. Well, the Academy really emphasizes building balanced meals. Thinking about those 5 food groups, it helps to visualize that healthy plate idea.
Okay.
You're aiming for roughly half your plate piled with colorful veggies and fruits, then about a quarter with whole grains, and the last quarter with some healthy protein.
That makes sense. A good visual. And then it's finding recipes that actually appeal to you, right? Cookbooks, online, wherever.
Things you'll actually want to eat.
But also being realistic, I guess, about your cooking skills and the gear you have. Like, no need to plan for soufflés every night if that's not your thing.
Exactly. It's finding that sweet spot. Healthy, yes, but also appealing and, crucially, doable for your actual life.
Right.
The Coach's Guide video really hammers home checking your schedule, too. What nights are you super busy? Plan something quick for those.
Good point.
And what about family favorites? Making sure those are in the rotation makes everyone happier.
Yeah, it gets buy-in. It's funny how even the weather makes a difference, too. Like, you crave soup when it's cold, not so much in July.
Totally. Or a big salad feels right when it's hot out. And, hey, if you're packing lunches, don't forget food safety. Keeping things properly chilled is non-negotiable.
Well, for sure. Insulated bags, ice packs, all that stuff.
And actually, before you even think about new recipes, the Academy makes a great point. Look at what you already have.
Ah, the pantry dive.
Right. Check the fridge, the freezer, the cupboards. Using up what's on hand saves cash and cuts down on food waste.
That's such a smart, practical tip, like a mini inventory before you shop. And speaking of shopping, checking supermarket flyers or apps for sales, that can spark ideas too, right? Especially with seasonal produce.
Definitely. That can be a great starting point. And while variety is good, you don't need a brand new meal every single day.
Thank goodness.
The Academy says it's totally normal to repeat meals, especially things like breakfast, oatmeal 5 days a week. Fine. It's about finding a rhythm that works.
Yeah, sustainability. And what about leftovers? That feels like a meal planning superpower.
Oh, absolutely. Planning for leftovers is smart. Dinner tonight is lunch tomorrow. Or freeze an extra portion for a crazy busy night down the road. Saves so much time.
It's got to be careful with storage, right? Fridge for a few days, freezer for longer, and reheating properly.
Safety first, always. And once you have a draft menu, it's actually a really good idea to run it by anyone else you're cooking for.
Get some feedback.
Yeah, make adjustments. Makes it feel more like a team effort, less like a dictatorship.
Good point. And the Academy also suggests maybe keeping little notes, like how did the week's plan actually work out? What did people like? What was a flop?
That's brilliant. It's like continuous improvement for your kitchen. You learn what works for your family, your schedule.
It really is an ongoing process. Okay, so menus drafted. The next logical step has got to be making sure you actually have the food, right? Stocking up.
Exactly. This is where you set yourself up for success.
Yeah.
A well-stocked pantry and freezer makes everything else so much easier.
Takes the stress out of it. The Academy has some handy lists based on the 5 food groups. Let's maybe start with the pantry. What about vegetables?
Okay, pantry veg. Canned tomatoes are superstars.
Huh?
Diced, crushed, whole paste. There are bases for so much.
Soups, stews, pasta sauces.
And having your favorite jarred pasta sauce is like an emergency dinner kit right there. Oh, and dried mushrooms. They add amazing depth of flavor.
Good tip. Okay, fruits in the pantry.
Dried fruits are great. Raisins, cranberries, apricots. They add fiber and a nice chew to oatmeal, salads, baked goods, you name it.
Versatile. What about milk and dairy type things, but for the pantry?
Right, just shelf-stable options. Dried milk powder is surprisingly useful, maybe for baking or just backup for coffee. Those little boxes of UHT milk are great for lunch boxes. Evaporated milk can often sub in recipes.
Okay. Protein power, pantry style.
Canned or dried lentils and beans. Black beans, chickpeas, kidney beans. They're protein and fiber heroes. Soups, salads, chilies, endless uses.
So cheap and healthy, too.
Totally. And don't forget canned fish. Tuna, sardines, even anchovies for a flavor punch. Quick protein, healthy fats.
Good call. Grains the pantry workhorses.
Definitely. Oatmeal, maybe buckwheat, whole grain cereals are great starts to the day. Add nuts or berries.
Boost them up.
Then things like barley, farro, quinoa. Great for hearty salads or side dishes. Different rices, brown, white, basmati. And pasta. Maybe whole wheat or lentil pasta for extra nutrients.
It's a good variety there. And then the other stuff, the flavor makers and basics.
Right, the supporting cast. Condiments, ketchup, mustard, relish, hot sauce. Keep in pantry safe till opened. Oils and vinegars are essential.
Like olive oil.
Extra virgin olive oil is a must.
Yeah.
Maybe a neutral oil too.
Yeah.
And vinegars, cider, balsamic, white wine. They add brightness.
Okay.
Low sodium broth or stock vegetable. Chicken, beef is key for soups and sauces. And a decent spice rack. Make sure they actually smell like something. Small containers are best for freshness.
Spices are crucial. Anything else?
Maybe some seeds. Flax or chia seeds for fiber, protein, omega-3s. Just remember to grind the flax seeds so your body can actually use it.
Got it. Okay, that's the pantry sorted. Now, the freezer, the meal planner's secret weapon.
Absolutely. The Academy stresses dating everything. Use the oldest stuff first. Makes sense. For frozen veggies, they're often frozen right after picking, so they lock in nutrients. Super convenient.
Yeah, sometimes even better than sad-looking fresh veg.
And a cool tip. Freeze fresh herbs. Chop them, put them in ice cube trays with a bit of boiling water or oil. Pop them into dishes later for a fresh boost.
Woo! I like that one. Frozen fruits.
Berries are perfect for smoothies. Often cheaper than fresh, especially out of season. Peaches, mango, great to have on hand.
Ray, dairy in the freezer. Seems weird.
Well, things like pre-shredded hard cheese, like Parmesan, freezes surprisingly well. Toss it into pasta or soups, and maybe some low-fat frozen yogurt for a healthier dessert.
Okay. Makes sense for cooked things. Freezer proteins.
Definitely. Salmon, other fatty fish for those omega-3s. Lean meats, poultry, buy on sale, portion it out, freeze it. Big money saver.
Just need to remember to thaw it safely, right? In the fridge.
Yep. Usually takes about a day in the fridge. Don't thaw on the counter. And nuts. You can freeze nuts to stop them going rancid, especially if you buy in bulk.
Didn't know that. Cool. And grains in the freezer.
Whole grain tortillas. So handy for quick quesadillas or wraps. And bread. If you won't eat a whole loaf quickly, freeze half. Just take out slices as you need them.
Smart. Avoids moldy bread. So yeah, a well-stocked pantry and freezer really does lay that foundation.
It makes pulling meals together so much less chaotic. Which leads us neatly to the next step, keeping that running grocery list.
This sounds almost too basic, but it's actually vital, isn't it?
It really is. The Academy highlights it. Whether it's a notepad stuck to the fridge or an app on your phone, doesn't matter. Just have somewhere to jot things down the moment you realize you're running low.
Prevents that, oh no, I forgot, the moment at 6 p.m.
Exactly. And some of those grocery apps are pretty smart now. They can help find deals, sort your list by aisle. Some even link up with recipes.
Oh, wow. Okay. That could be handy.
But yeah, digital, paper, whatever works. The main thing is building that list based on your meal plan for the week.
Could you see?
And crucially, checking what you already have before you go.
Right. That pantry and freezer check we talked about. Avoid buying the third jar of paprika you didn't know you had.
Saves money, saves space, reduces waste.
Yeah.
Win, win, win.
Okay, so we've got the planning, the stocking, the listing. How does this all connect back to the why? Like the healthy eating principles, maybe especially if someone's watching their weight?
Great question. That Chut Unland Came So Hackin' resource dives into this. It starts with the WHO definition of a healthy diet for weight control.
Which emphasizes.
Pretty much what you'd expect.
Huh.
Lots of fruits, veggies, whole grains, fiber, legumes. Limiting free sugars, especially sugary drinks, processed meats. and salt. And importantly, swapping out saturated and trans fats for healthier unsaturated fats. Plus, making sure you get all your essential nutrients without overdoing the total energy, calories for your needs.
So it's not just about cutting things out, it's about the quality of what you're eating.
Exactly. Nutrient density is key, and the benefits go way beyond just weight. We're talking lower risk of chronic diseases, better mood, more energy. It's all connected.
It really is holistic. So what are the key principles from that resource for putting this into practice, especially for weight control?
Well, first is getting that balance right. Sufficient nutrients, carbs, fats, protein, but in the right proportions. They suggest ranges like 45–65% energy from carbs, focusing on complex ones.
Like whole grains?
Right. 20–35% from fats, emphasizing those unsaturated ones from plants and fish, and 10–35% from lean protein, plus, of course, vitamins and minerals.
Okay, balance is key. What else?
Second is managing energy intake. And they introduce this interesting concept of eating units. It's a way to estimate portions without strict calorie counting.
Eating units. How does that work?
It's kind of like assigning points or units to standard portions of different food groups. So maybe half a bowl of rice is one grain unit, an apple is a fruit unit, a cup of leafy greens is a vegetable unit.
Ah, so it helps you visualize portions more easily.
Exactly. Makes portion control a bit more intuitive. And it ties into their healthy eating dish idea, which sounds very similar to the healthy eating plate we'll talk about. Half plate veggies, quarter protein, quarter whole grains.
Simple visual cues. I like that. They also mention a hand principle.
Yeah, another quick visual guide, like a portion of fat is about the size of your thumb, carbs or fruit about a fist, protein a palm, veggies 2 palms clasped together. Rough guides, but helpful on the go.
Handy shortcuts. What was the third principle?
Eating smaller, more frequent meals, maybe 4 or 5 a day instead of 3 big ones.
Why is that helpful?
The thinking is it can help manage hunger, keep you feeling satisfied longer, maybe keep your metabolism humming along more steadily. Key idea. Eat before you get ravenous, stop before you feel stuffed.
Prevents those energy dips and maybe overeating later. Makes sense. So weaving these principles into the meal plan, that really elevates it beyond just organization.
Definitely. It becomes a strategy for achieving your health goals, whatever they may be.
Okay, so let's get even more practical. That coach's guide video had some really concrete steps, right?
Yeah, super actionable stuff. It reinforces taking stock of what you have and brainstorming meals. We've covered that. But then step 2 is crucial. Check your schedule.
Right, be realistic.
Plan those quick meals for busy nights. Don't set yourself up to fail by planning something complex when you know you'll have 0 time.
So true. Okay, schedule checked. Then?
Step 3. Actually write down the plan. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks maybe for each day. Get it out of your head and onto paper or screen.
Make it concrete.
Step 4. Make that detailed grocery list based only on the plan after checking your supplies.
We talked about that. Avoid duplicates.
Step 5. Go shopping. And really try to stick to the list. Avoid those impulse buys that sabotage the plan and the budget.
The checkout aisle temptations. Tough.
It is. Step 6 is the real time saver, though. Prep ahead. Even just 30–60 minutes. Chop veggies. Cook a batch of quinoa. Portion out nuts for snacks.
The Sunday prep session.
It's a game changer. Makes weeknight cooking feel more like assembling than starting from scratch. And step 7. Store everything properly. Airtight containers, fridge, freezer. Keeps it fresh and easy to grab.
Those steps make it feel very manageable. The coach's guide also had tips to make it even easier.
Yeah, some nice little hacks. Theme nights, like Meatless Monday, Taco Tuesday. Takes the guesswork out of at least 1 or 2 meals.
Reduces decision fatigue. I like it.
Batch cooking is another big one. Make double the chili, freeze half. Cook once, eat twice or more.
Smart. And using leftovers for lunch seems obvious, but so effective.
Totally. And remember, it doesn't have to be fancy. Simple, healthy meals are fine. Grilled chicken and steamed broccoli. Great.
Doesn't need to be Instagram-worthy every night.
Not at all. And finally, get others involved. If you have a family, get them in on the planning and prepping. It shares the load and teaches good habits.
Makes it a team sport. Okay, these are really practical tips. Now, you mentioned the healthy eating plate earlier. Maybe we can use that as a final visual guide.
Yeah, it's a fantastic tool from Harvard. Really clear visual for building balanced meals.
So how does it break down?
Well, the biggest section, about half the plate, is vegetables and fruits. Emphasis on variety, lots of color. Interestingly, they say potatoes don't really count as a vegetable in this context because of their blood sugar impact.
Good distinction. Okay, half is veg and fruit. What's the rest?
About a quarter is whole grains. Think brown rice, whole wheat bread, quinoa, oats, whole wheat pasta, the less refined stuff.
Better for blood sugar.
Exactly. And the final quarter is healthy protein, fish, chicken, beans, nuts, lots of options. They advise limiting red meat and definitely avoiding processed meats like bacon or deli meats.
Okay, plate divided. What else does it show?
It highlights using healthy plant oils, olive, canola, avocado in moderation. Big emphasis on drinking water, tea, or coffee with little or no sugar. Limit dairy, limit juice, avoid sugary drinks entirely.
The drink choices matter a lot.
They really do. And there's that little figure running alongside the plate, a reminder that staying active is also crucial for weight control and overall health.
Right, it's diet and exercise. So the main takeaway from the plate is quality.
Yeah, focus on diet quality. The type of carb matters more than just the amount. Choose healthy fats. Ditch the sugary drinks. It's about nutrient-rich whole foods.
Makes sense. But what if your meal isn't, served on an actual plate, like soup or a packed lunch?
Good question. You can still apply the proportion. Is roughly half your soup volume vegetables? Is there a lean protein and maybe some whole grains or beans in there too? For a lunchbox, are you packing components that roughly match those plate ratios? It's about the overall balance, not the literal plate.
Got it. Think proportions. Okay, wow, we've covered a lot of ground today on meal planning.
We really have. From the initial menu creation, stocking up smartly, keeping that grocery list,
To connecting it with healthy eating principles, practical tips to make it easier, and using that healthy eating plate as a guide.
and stepping back, you can see meal planning isn't just one thing. It's this multifaceted approach, really, that brings together organization and nutrition.
It's investing a little time up front to save yourself stress and make healthier choices down the line.
Exactly. And for you listening, the potential benefits are huge. Less mealtime chaos, probably saving time and money, and definitely supporting your health and maybe weight goals.
It really empowers you to take control of what you're eating.
Which leads us to a final thought for you to consider. Looking at everything we've discussed, what's maybe one small thing, just one strategy you could try implementing this week?
Yeah, don't try to do it all at once, maybe?
Right, maybe it's just planning dinners for 3 nights. Or maybe it's doing that pantry inventory before you shop next. Or trying one theme night. Just pick one thing that resonates.
See how it feels, what difference it makes. That's a great, actionable takeaway.
Take that first step.
Excellent. Well, maybe next time we can dive into some specific quick recipes or explore certain nutrients more deeply. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.